disappointing for them. Collingwood and Richmond. Collingwood welcomed back with open arms Peter Dacos, and he booted 7. Savario Rocker got 6, and Collingwood demolished Richmond 24-17 to 14-14. Carlton... but he was on that particular occasion. Collingwood and Richmond, well, Peter Dacos returned for the Maggies. And returned in style. He booted 7. Here's Rowe. On the boundary line, gets the hand pass across to his lookalike in Dacos. And despite it being under pressure, puts it through. Thank you, Pete. Kel, Collingwood and Richmond, and your votes.
Yes, I went for the main architect on yesterday's performance was Mickey McGuan again, enjoying a great season. And I gave 2 to Tony Francis, who explosive pace, and now has great support from Rowe as a roving duo, and a very dangerous duo at that. And I gave Gary Pert, who gave an excellent performance across half-back, and of course he was moved back onto Hogg and looked dangerous and kicked forward and shut him right out of the game. But that's the first goal of the game. It was in the first from the first bounce, and that was the story of the game. It was catch-up football, unfortunately, for the Tigers. They were forced to kick in a very strong breeze in the first term. Collingwood piled on 4 goals before they even ventured into the Richmond forward line. And although they fought back very hard throughout the game, got within 8 points, I think, at one particular stage. Collingwood were always in control, and Gavin Brown was another one of those runners. And one facet which really impressed me yesterday was the fierce tackling of the Collingwood side. I think they had something like 43 tackles, effective tackles, to 15 Richmond. And in fact, I think Kerrison was the main contributor there with 8, which is sort of half of the Richmond total. So I think that's been a facet of part of the army which has got them through a lot of those tight games in recent weeks.
Could you see some of Jeans's work in the Richmond team?
You asked me that last time I went to Richmond.
Well, I like to see you.
Yes, once again, there's all those things getting in the vision.
Is it improving?
I think so. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. Players like Maxwell, McQueen, Gale, of course, and Francis, they all show something. But unfortunately, there's a bit of Jeans come through in Matthews' coaching, and they just did it a little bit better and more often.
Kel, Tony Shaw usually picks up the main prime mover of the opposition side. Who did he pick up yesterday?
Oh, well, they swapped around that much, I couldn't really tell you, but he was in the centre and was a very important player and just organises the whole thing when they seem to be under a little bit of pressure. But he probably would have picked up 3 or 4 Lambert, Waitman at different times, but didn't have one player specifically, I should say, for the whole day.
Shane Kerrison, you mentioned about the number of tackles he had, Kel. I've watched him over the the last time I had the game. He doesn't seem to initiate play. Was he initiating any play yesterday?
Yes, he was a good player yesterday because he was mining a couple of the rover-type players and moved up the ground and instigated quite a few moves and slotted in for the short kicks. And, yeah, he was a good contributor throughout, as was. It was a good team performance by Collingwood.
Right, thank you.
Yes, and screams of joy went through the Jack Ryder stand. Here is Gary Pert, thrills all the supporters at Collingwood. Top grab and a top game.
The magical Peter Dacos. Have a look at this. Only champions continually do this, time and time.
Come on, Derek, kick it.
Yeah.
There's a bit of play by Rocco, the big fellow, showing a lot of manoeuvrability for someone so big and snapping that one back over his shoulder.
And at Victoria Park, Collingwood kicked its biggest score of the season in thrashing Richmond by 63 points. And it was Peter Dacos who led the goal spree. Despite missing a month because of a shoulder injury, the Pies magician kicked 7, while youngster Rocker booted 6. Matthew Brooks reports.
The Magpies' first appearance at Victoria Park in 2 months attracted a bumper crowd, and their side didn't let them down. With the win, they had 5 goals on the board before the Tigers had their first. Hogg was the key to the Tigers, this superb grab giving him his 3rd. By the midway mark of the second term, Richmond were back to within 9 points, but the Magpies steadied. McGuan brought the black and white brigade to their feet with his first. Dacos was also thrilling his fans, roving the pack for his 4th. When Brown found Krosiska, the difference had grown to 49 points. The Tigers tried hard to reduce that, but had no luck. Wright juggling a beauty before his 2nd. The last quarter was all Collingwood, Rocker kicking a further 2 after strong marks. While Dacos kicked his 7th to give the Magpies a 10-goal win.